Last week, Tuesday, was the first day of the new school year, and it was a stressful day. Teachers were stressed because they didn't know if they were totally ready to start teaching. Students were stressed out because they didn't all know where their classrooms were. It was certainly a stressful day for a lot of people. So I thought I should do an English lesson about stress. If you don't know what stress is a feeling you have. It's kind of a combination of feeling anxious and having anxiety and being nervous and being worried about something new that's starting or just things in life that you are going through. So in this English lesson, I will talk to you about how to express feelings of stress, and I'll also teach you some English phrases that we use when we talk about stress. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about stress. I hope the lesson doesn't stress you out, but I think it's a good idea for us to talk a little bit about stress and how to express it in English. Before we get started though, if this is your first time here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if this video helps you learn just a little bit more English. So, in general, if you are feeling anxious and you are feeling a lot of anxiety, and if you're worried and you're a little nervous, you can express that in two ways, and it's very, very simple. You can say, I'm stressed, or you can say, I'm stressed out. They mean exactly the same thing. I'm not sure why we have the second version, but I actually think it's the more common of the two. So if I was in a situation where I was feeling all of those emotions, I would choose one of those two ways to express it. I would either say, I'm stressed, or I would say, I'm stressed out. You can also use the same two expressions to be specific about what you're stressed about. Let's say you have a test tomorrow. You could say, I'm stressed because I have a test tomorrow. You could also say, I'm stressed out because I have a test tomorrow. Those two sentences mean exactly the same thing. You could say something like this, I'm stressed because I have a job interview next week, or I'm stressed out because I have a job interview next week. Both of those phrases, I'm stressed and I'm stressed out, mean exactly the same thing, and you can use them to talk specifically about what you're stressed about. If there are situations in life that happen routinely where you experience stress, we usually use the verb to stress out, or we say to get stressed. Here are some examples. You could say, I stress out when my boss gives me too much work, or I get stressed when my boss gives me too much work. For me personally, I stress out when I don't have enough time in my day to finish my English lesson. I get stressed when I don't have enough time in my day to finish my English lesson. So when you're talking about things that happen over and over again, things that happen regularly or routinely, things that give you stress, we usually say stress out, or we use the verb to get stressed. If there is a person or thing in your life that causes your life to be stressful, we can also use the verb to stress out, but we can kind of invert the sentence a little bit. You could say something like this, my cousin stresses me out. Maybe your cousin is the kind of person where when you're around them, you're constantly feeling stress. You would say, my cousin stresses me out. Maybe you really don't like big storms. You could say, big storms stress me out. So you can also use the verb to stress out, but you can flip the sentence and you can talk about someone or something that causes you stress. And then of course we have the adjective stressful. You can use the adjective stressful to describe things that cause stress. You could say things like this, my English class is stressful. I hope your English class isn't stressful, but if it is, that's how you would describe it. If you feel stress when you go to your English class, you would say, my English class is stressful. Maybe you have an English test coming up, and you could say, it is stressful right now to study for my English test. I am experiencing a lot of stress. It is stressful. So when you want to describe something that causes stress, you can always use the adjective stressful. So let's look at some English phrases related to the feeling of stress. One of the things that causes stress in my life is I tend to leave things to the last minute, or I tend to do things at the last minute. Both of these are because I tend to procrastinate. When you procrastinate, it means you have lots of time to do something, but you do all of the work or most of the work immediately before that work has to be done. So I am always guilty of doing that. I often leave things to the last minute, or I often do things at the last minute, which are both just bad habits to have. Hopefully you are not like this. Hopefully you plan ahead. Hopefully you do things ahead of time and you do them in a timely fashion. Please, I hope you're not someone who leaves things to the last minute or does things at the last minute. Just a bad habit. One thing that causes stress is being too busy. You might have a lot on your plate, or you might have a lot on your mind. When you have a lot on your plate, it means you're very, very busy. You probably have a lot of work to do. Maybe you have a lot of errands to run. Maybe life is just very, very busy. You have a lot on your plate. Maybe you have a lot on your mind. When you have a lot on your mind, it doesn't mean you're busy in the sense that you're doing a lot of activities. It means that you have a lot of things to think about. Maybe you're worrying about a sick relative. Maybe you're preparing for a test. Maybe you have to do a whole bunch of errands and you're not sure what you exactly have to do. You have a lot on your mind. So being busy can be one of the things that causes stress. You might have a lot on your plate, or you might have a lot on your mind. Stress can also be caused by other people. You might be under pressure to get something done on time at work. You might be under the gun to get things done on time. Don't worry, there's no actual gun involved. But when you say that you are under pressure or you are under the gun, it means that your boss or someone who is in charge of you is trying to get you to work really hard to get something done in a timely fashion, to get something done on time. When you are under pressure to get stuff done on time, it can be very, very stressful and it can cause a lot of stress. So it doesn't always have to be you that's causing the stress in your life. Sometimes it's your boss or your manager or your supervisor or maybe someone in your family. Well, hey, thanks for watching this English lesson about stress. This is actually one of those lessons where I hope you learned a lot of new words and phrases, but I hope your life is stress-free and that you don't really need to use them very often. A little bit of stress in life is okay, but I hope none of you have huge amounts of stress in your life. But anyways, thanks for watching. Remember, if this is your first time here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button over there and give me a thumbs up if this video helped you learn just a little bit more English. And if you have the time, why don't you stick around and watch another English lesson.